Hello everyone and welcome to Brother Earth Healing. It's so nice to be with you. Today we will be reading for our earth signs, reading into earth energies in and around us, which we all have. Tapping in to offer channeled messages for healing, for our growth, and for support as we go into the month of August. Super happy to be with you. For those of you that follow the channel a little bit, you'll notice that my location is a little bit different. I'm actually visiting my mother here in the family home I grew up in LA, in a little hidden little nook, hilly little mountain in LA, which I call home. It's very nice to be here. In the room I actually spent a lot of time in growing up, so it's very special vibes for Brother Earth today. I am an intuitive healer and have been trained also formally as a medium, as well as have received training as a Buddhist monk. So there's a little bit of my background in the Zen tradition with Thich Nhat Hanh. And I do a lot of healing work and all kinds of intuitive work, helping people connect with their guides, with ancestors, doing ancestry work, as well as helping people on their path in so many ways. So if you're called to receive any of that, I'm totally available and open. I have a sliding scale for all of my services to make it accessible for everybody. Feel free to message me here or on Instagram, also at Brother Earth Healing. I'm super excited to get started today. I've already had a lot come through, especially in the morning, waking up here this morning. It was really nice. So we're going to start, as always, with taking a couple breaths together, getting into the space as I offer some healing and grounding for everyone tuning in. So if you just kind of, I'll invite you to just kind of come back to your breath, maybe close your eyes. And we'll take a couple of breaths together, just easing into the space, easing into ourselves. Just floating on the breath. We'll ask our mind and thoughts flowing by to just settle, allowing the mind to settle. Whatever's preoccupying us, just allow it to settle. And as we kind of ease up with our mental activity and drop a little bit further down into our heart space, continuing to breathe nice and easy. Good. And we'll allow and ask that our emotions also begin to settle and really open ourselves up to receive what we need to receive today with what's coming through. Open to healing, deserving of healing, getting what we need today. Great. Before we start, I'd like to offer gratitude, big thanks and praise to our ancestors, both our blood ancestry as well as our spiritual ancestry, honoring our heritage, recognizing all of the ways the path has been paved for us, all of the support, all of the love. Offering big thanks. Thank you. Please help me offer messages clearly to those tuning in for our healing and our growth. Thank you so much. Cool. Okay, so let's get started. This is a very earthy area that I'm in right now, which I grew up in. It's like on a little hill. Undisclosed for now, for those of you tuning in that maybe know me a little bit better. You know how special it is up here. Really beautiful space, beautiful energy, very earthy and very grounding, especially for being probably 10 minutes from downtown LA, 15 minutes drive. So let's see what wants to come out today. I'm getting a lot about forward movement for us. For those who are resonating with that, maybe time to really get started with some projects or put a little bit more energy and stuff behind things that we're passionate about, really birthing. Half the deck wanted to fall out right there. I'm going to take this. I'm actually going to take this upright for now. Okay, first card out. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck, actually. I'm feeling upright today. I'm feeling like what's coming out wants to come up upright. Yeah, here we go. King of Wands. Okay, this is my herbal tarot deck. Cinnamon is the herb associated with the deck. All the cards have herbs or spices or some kind of thing associated, which is super cool. Yeah, cinnamon, right? Like very warming and very, yeah, and King of Wands, wow, like the creator, right? Really like going forward strongly, passionately, very, it's interesting because I'm feeling like there's a real earthy groundedness to this King of Wands right now, that maybe isn't normally traditionally what you associate with King of Wands, but I do feel like there's a very grounded and solid foundation with you, for you, that I definitely feel like that you have cultivated and done a lot of work to achieve. And as we go forward, as you go forward, that foundation will be so integral to everything that comes out of your actions, right? Actions, meaning like your thoughts, your speech, the words you use, the physical actions that, manifest, from inside out, right? So that internal foundation is where all of this is. And as long as we're feeding and continuing to nurture that foundation, that groundedness, and that solidity that we've cultivated, and continuing to nurture and feed that, right? Sort of like, we care for the soil, and we don't worry about, the plant, the flower grows beautifully because the soil and the foundation is very strong and solid. So, yeah, that's great. That's really great. Yeah. I just feel like you're really, and here was the first card that kind of fell out, Three of Pentacles. I certainly feel like there's a sense of slow and steady wins the race. And I feel like that's been an attitude which has been serving you really well. And now there's some fire coming up. There's some fire, some energy propelling you forward into a new, it's funny. Yeah, into this new place where you feel like you have the capacity to offer. Okay, you have the capacity to offer others, offer to your community a little bit more. Okay, I feel like there's some kind of underlying fear of going too fast, not being solid in those steps, right? But just as you've learned to, just as like a child learns how to, slow and steady find their steps and their footing, and slowly making those baby steps, eventually there comes a point where, you learn to run, and certainly you might stumble and there might be obstacles and things like that. But, here we are as, grown humans, and, we don't have to worry about falling when we run anymore. So there's an aspect of like, allowing that momentum, that fire that's coming up naturally, having faith in your foundation, and continuing forward on whatever this is, a project or whatever, or continuing on your path, going deeper into your spirituality or deeper into your personal practice, and really allowing that momentum to carry you in a fluid way, in an active and passionate way, right? And allow some of those worries to be there, but maybe not invest so much, right, in the worries, right? It's not always the best thing to invest in our worries and put a lot of weight in those worries. I feel like there's also a fear of failure of being a part of this, right? So some fearfulness amidst all of this, right? Some fearfulness for sure amidst all of this, which is great because, it's kind of like this saying, I'm a musician as well. And, it's kind of like, if you're like, if you're not going on stage and performing and feeling a little bit jittery, a little bit nervous, you probably don't care too much about it. You're probably not too invested. You're probably not going to be doing your absolute best and really putting your whole self into it, right? So I feel that, use this fear as, your kind of like, guidance system, right? It's telling you, giving you a message, right? Not just there to bring up fear, but giving you a message to help you, you know, and I feel like that message is clear. It's like, you know, you really care about this, and there's really a lot of passion here in whatever this is. And that's a great sign, you know. So many people struggle so much with finding what their passion is and what their path is. And I think that for many of you, from what I'm feeling and reading into, what's coming through is that, you know, that this is a great blessing for you to have such clarity. And even if it doesn't feel as clear as maybe you'd like it to, be grateful for what clarity there is and for the path that you see, that you do see, right? Because that's such a that can be a very, very hard part of you know, of our journey. And so yeah, like invite some gratitude in for that, yeah, just being aware of that. Okay, I feel like there's more. I feel like there's more to share about this. What this is. Okay, so we're gonna go a little bit deeper into what possibly these projects or things are for you all. And it may be something as simple as just really wanting to devote yourself very deeply to spirituality and you know, waking up, like, you know, taking steps back from our ego, you know, this ego self that we have, and into a more open and, you know, and investigating, wow, like, who really am I beyond my identification with my ego and this personhood that is created through the mind, and, you know, and nurtured by society and our families. And so that is this maybe, and I feel strongly there's, for some of you, it's more about, yeah, it's more about that, right? This waking up, this going further, going deeper into yourself, and like the expansiveness, right, of your connection with others in the world and in the universe. So that's really beautiful. That's very, very beautiful. So we're gonna look into this. You know, what is it that wants to be? What is it that you want to really give energy to right now? Okay, I'm gonna take that upright. Actually, I'm also gonna take this upright. More confirmations of, you know, really trusting. I feel like that's a key part to what is experienced right now, what's being experienced right now, particularly relating to this fear coming up, is just to really, you know, count your blessings, right? Like count your really look into and put more weight and value into the foundation you have already. Okay, I feel like this is coming out from my buddy. For you, Hunter, if you're watching this, I feel like I just kind of saw you for a second. Yeah, rejoice. Beautiful. That's what's coming out. I didn't mention this in this video, but mostly what's going on here, the way I read is, because if you notice, I may not always say the, you know, traditional meanings of all the cards. What I'm doing is, I do know the traditional meanings of the cards, but I read intuitively, and I'm a medium, and so what's coming through is mostly channeled messages. I'm just kind of the medium for your guides, my guides, for, you know, universal wisdom and whatever's coming through. So just bear that in mind, and just take whatever is resonating, and whatever isn't, you know, just take with a grain of salt, you know. Exactly. Perfect. So yeah, like, you know, rejoice, truly rejoice, right, in that foundation that you have already. That's really good, and that will help you. And I feel like there's a confidence element, right? With fear, a lot of times it's there's some part of internally that is maybe not as confident, not as not as confident sometimes. I feel like certainly that might be the case for you in this situation. Okay. I feel that there are, I feel like what's happening right now for many of us, and maybe even for all of us, is, yeah, like cycles, some cycles, important cycles ending, and then others beginning. Yeah. Yeah, I've been feeling that really strongly. I've been seeing all kinds of crazy stuff lately. in dreams and in, yeah, like working through old stuff. Okay. I feel like what's coming through here is this sense of experiencing old patterning, right? Like kind of staving off like some of these older patterns and habits that are creeping up that haven't served us, you know, that we have done a lot of work with, right? To overcome, to work past, to kind of free ourselves from. And a lot of these are coming up again now at the end of this cycle of ours, some cycle that is really helping to remind us of not only the work that we've done to overcome and work past and free ourselves, but also in a way that yeah, not just allows us to see where we're at, but also what's coming through here? What is it? Okay. It's not just a reminder. It's, I wouldn't say a test or anything. Pop quiz. That's okay. That's what I'm hearing. Pop quiz, right? Pop quiz. You know, sometimes like we get really solid and we think we're like all good with something, right? We really know something. We really know it. We really studied hard, right? And then somehow, like, you know, the teacher puts one of those a question from an older chapter, you know, on a quiz, maybe a month ago or two, right? And you're like, wait, how did I work that out again? You know, oh man, like, do I still remember? And like, and then it takes a little while, and then you're like, oh, okay, I remember. You know, that's kind of what I'm feeling, is that we're having these things come up so that we, is a reminder to say, you know, these things there's still seeds of those old patterns in us. There's, you know, even if we've kind of really cut it down and, you know, mowed the lawn, right? There's still seeds there of those patterns and those more, you know, things that hold us down. And we need to continue mowing that lawn. We need to continue to nurture and, you know, keep our garden tame, right? The garden of the mind, right? And being aware of what we're watering. Are we watering those seeds, still watering those seeds in certain ways? You know, like for instance, if we're trying to overcome, maybe like we weren't being so healthy with, like, you know, with alcohol or something like that. We've done a good job to cut that out, maybe just have like 1 or 2 drinks a month, whatever. But, you know, maybe there's some aspect of the way we're still living our life that is in the mind, indulging and accepting and allowing the idea of, you know, this normalcy of, you know, regular drinking or something like that. And that's not helping us. You know, I feel like this is kind of what this little pop quiz is about. It's really helping us get to a deeper root of some of those old patterns so that we might, like just really, really master the mind, right? Really master it. And that's great. So don't see this as any kind of failure, even if we kind of stumble a little bit. You know, we're learning to run, right? We've got that foundation. We're now learning to run and allow that momentum to carry us. We're going to stumble. We're going to fall. And that's totally part of it. It's okay. It really is okay. You know, and I think as long as we are really aware of what's going on is what's really important that wants to come through, right? You know, as long as we're really mindful and have the awareness and the determination of our spirit is to overcome, right? If that is at the core of everything we experience, the determination to overcome, to free ourselves, if that is at the core of our daily, you know, if we just keep reminding ourselves, and that is what is the most alive in us, you know, this is the most important thing. This is the most important thing, not the moments when we falter, right? So let's come into this awareness, right, of this, certainly this full energy. And I would say that it's, you know, in the Zen world, we call this beginner's mind, right? So we always have this sense of being a beginner. Oh my God. So I cut the deck from my rider deck, came the Fool. And I cut the deck from the herbal tarot, and we have the Fool again. Great. Okay, so this is some double confirmation going on. Yeah, beautiful, right? You know, so beginner's mind, right? We are always a beginner. We're always learning. We always have that fire, you know, that comes like when we pick up like a new instrument, you know, or we get, you know, we get a new guitar. For me, I guess that's what it is, but you know what I mean? Like if we get a new color palette, if we paint, you know, or something like that, you know, or a new project, you know, this fire, right? Keeping that alive. And especially because we are exiting one cycle, entering another, allowing, again, that momentum. Momentum keeps coming up as a theme very strongly from what's coming through. And I think that that's a very important part of what you're experiencing right now, is to really learn to ride that wave, especially when it comes, because if we, sometimes we don't ride it as far as maybe we could, or we miss it a little bit, you know, and that doesn't always feel so good. And I feel like that has to do what's coming through is distractions, seeing this, you know, whatever TV or, you know, or even things that are healthy for us, like going on walks and things like that. Sometimes we can even use those things to distract ourselves from investing in something that's important to us, because we're a little bit fearful, right? Or very fearful in some cases. So yeah, by really adopting this beginner's mind, this fool energy, right? And I'm not feeling like the fool energy is like foolish, right? Which I think would be more of the traditional connotation of the card, right? I really truly feel, particularly with the herbal tarot depiction, right? He's really stopping to smell the roses. It's very mindful. The light shining up, you know, is this light of awareness, of mindfulness, of clarity, you know, of really, again, counting our blessings, smelling the roses, you know, really noticing and putting value on the beautiful, on the beauty of our life, on the accomplishments, our foundation, again, our, and the direction, and just how blessed we are. You know, that is so important to nurture that in us, because so many of us, in so many ways, spent way too much time thinking about all the things that are wrong, you know, all the things that are wrong, especially right now with everything going on. And so, yeah, and so this invitation is to adopt that energy, right? And it's beautiful. It really is beautiful, you know. And beginner's mind for me also feels like, you know, we do things that are outside of our normal routine that help to inspire us and just get those juices flowing in a way that's a little bit different, that's a little bit more expansive, right? Expanding ourselves is also what the Fool is about, right? Right? Like just opening, like, you know, opening to receive and to invite this newness, right? Getting out of, and that really helps us to get out of our fearful mentality, out of our old habits, things like that. So this will all help and support us. Let me see. Let's, it's funny, every video that I've been doing, I always say like, okay, I'm going to try to make this a little bit shorter. And it's still like, I cannot get it under like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Like, I've been trying really hard because I know sometimes the videos are long and everything, but what's coming through is really potent, and I'm very good at what I do. And I feel like for those of you that do tune in and stick around, that resonate, I have gotten good feedback that, you know, you do like that the videos are a little bit longer, but please feel free to comment and let me know what you think. Let me know, yeah, if you have any questions or anything about anything that came out in the reading, feel free to leave them, leave a comment, and I will definitely just, you know, get back to you. I'm not going to charge you or anything for that. And yeah, just really I've been really loving meeting everyone, like the broader community that has been like tuning in and having little conversations and chats. It's been really great. So yeah, definitely just reach out and say hi. I'm very friendly and chilling, and I would love to, love to meet all of you. Okay. I feel like I'm reading into a very different energy now. Maybe related, and it may have to do with you, but it's a different energy, a different situation. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck here. Okay, there's some suffering, clearly. Bottom of the deck. Nine of Swords, okay, there's some suffering. Right under it, Temperance. Echinacea is the medicine. Okay. Interestingly enough, valerian root is actually the herb on Nine of Swords as well. Okay. I'm feeling loss. I'm feeling loss. Maybe someone has passed is what I feel. Actually, that's close to you. Yeah. Yeah, I feel heart hurts. Yeah. Difficulty understanding why. There's some confusion about what's going on or what has happened. I feel like will be answers in time with this temperance. Yeah. And to just do your best to find the internal balance you need between really feeling your suffering, not shying away from it, not self-medicating in an unhealthy way, but allowing the medicine of time, and nurturing yourself and your joy and your happiness as well, while you go through the painful process. Right, balance, really feeling the balance strongly. And I do feel like you are doing a great job of that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of being actually called to say a lot of times when I work with people, most notably, like actually I noticed when I was working with people in person, I am a medium and I am an open channel, and I've been formally trained also to do that work. A lot of times when I was working with people individually, there was a period of time, a few months, when almost everyone that I saw had someone close to them pass, and I channeled messages for them from their loved ones that had passed. And I'm feeling called to say that for some reason. Maybe there's someone out there watching this at some point, that will watch this at some point, that might be interested in doing that kind of work. If you are and you resonate, please feel free to reach out. I absolutely love doing that kind of work with people. It's really healing. And yeah, I've done a lot of that work for myself too. Actually, my dad actually passed when I was a teenager, actually in the other room here at our house. And yeah, I remember having a lot of experiences as I started getting into this work, of communing and like just so much healing from that experience. So I feel called to kind of say that, because I know how hard that can be. And I also think that what wants to come out too is that, there's always support, even if it doesn't feel like that, even if you're suffering immensely. Your guides and little helpers and higher teachers, are always there. And it's really, and I've been saying this in a lot of the videos lately, it's all there. Just ask. It's really just about asking for that support directly, and for clarity to come through. And I noticed that for me, asking out loud verbally is really powerful, and very genuinely, the genuine intention to heal and to grow through your experience, and being quiet enough to listen to those messages. I feel like, getting into this a little bit more, I feel like there's a feeling of loss and confusion, because maybe you had a big decision to make with all of this, with somehow involving this sense of loss or something like that. Like, you had some kind of decision to make, and I think that at the end of the day, you did feel like you did a good job of that, even though it was a stressful situation, is what I'm picking up on. I feel just a lot of grace coming through. I feel a lot of grace coming through, a lot of support for you, both physical and non-physical, seen and not seen. I feel like a lot of support and love around you in this time, for sure. I feel like for some of you, this is actually not happened yet. Yeah. It's easy to get lost in the loss, right? It's easy to get lost in the loss and not see the value when you're in so much pain. But I feel that a big part of this is helping you to actually grow past that part. That is, all of us have these places and spaces in us that aren't as mature emotionally particularly, because our culture, doesn't really teach us to do that. It's not really part of our culture as much, especially in the West, and all over. We just don't receive what we need to receive to become emotionally mature, and in many cases. And I feel like through this process, that's a big part of the learning, and a big part of it, on the other side, really coming out strong. Ten of Pentacles, interestingly enough, is coming out. There might be some inheritance or something. This is kind of feeling like out of left field, kind of unexpected. Okay. What I feel more strongly than physical or monetary inheritance is that somehow there's some kind of transfer, some kind of transmission of and passing down of wisdom, of spiritual significance, something like that. A lot of love behind that. Yeah, a lot of intention, very intentional passing down of that. And I feel like it's related to the passing of whoever this was. If there's someone has passed or moved on, maybe not passed physically, but maybe something is done. Some cycle is over, something is done, and I feel like there's a recognition of how much was gained from that relationship, with whatever kind of relationship that was. Yeah. And again, I'm being kind of guided to speak again about this foundation, right? And nurturing that foundation, and not to forget that, particularly in this situation. I'm getting that you really feel like you've really gone through it, And I think, again, asking for support out loud from whatever you feel connected to, the universe, guides or teachers or whatever, just whatever you feel connected to, ancestors, whatever. And when we're asking for support from ancestors, one of my good friends and teachers and mentors, she was telling me that in her tradition, when she is she's trained in a Peruvian, shamanistic tradition from Peru, that we always ask for healed ancestors. We always ask for healed ancestors for support. We don't always have to go straight to healing, trying to single-handedly heal all of our ancestral trauma in our ancestral line. We ask for support and to connect with healed ancestors first, which is beautiful advice, which she's the only person I've ever heard that from, and that's a really, really beautiful advice that I'd like to share and offer to you all. We're gonna see if a few more cards want to come out. I kind of want to try again to make this a little bit shorter. We'll see if anything wants to come out, and if not, then we'll just end and go to oracles. But this feels really good. I certainly feel like there's a lot of ancestry coming out here, and I don't think it's definitely no surprise that I'm like here in where I grew up, that all of this is kind of coming out. But for many of you, I do feel like there's this real wanting and a real need to connect with ancestors and to help heal some family stuff. And if you do feel called to do that kind of work, please feel free to reach out to me. Again. Okay. Interesting. I'm picking up that there's someone in your ancestry past who has passed for sure. I'm feeling 1 or 2 generations ago at least. Maybe much older than that. Maybe much longer than that. Did a lot of spiritual work, but also had a lot of suffering and didn't feel like they passed on what they wanted to pass down. Oh, okay. So now, okay, this is very beautiful and interesting. So now, somehow, they're wanting to connect with you because you hold a lot of that wisdom that they wanted to pass down, or that somehow you are very capable and very in tune, maybe very empathic, and have a lot of intuitive guidance and intuitive ability, and open to that, and you're just in a good place to receive and connect with this particular ancestor. Really beautiful grandfather energy, the hermit, really beautiful. grandfather. I keep hearing that, grandfather. And that doesn't mean it's, directly your grandfather, but, a grandfather-like energy, I feel like there was trauma for this person, or which and I feel like there was a lot of suffering, for sure, a lot of suffering, but a lot of work and a lot of really beautiful wisdom that wants to come through, that wants to be shared with you. Okay. I feel like you perhaps maybe have gone in a very different direction with your life, but maybe are coming back into recognizing the value of going deeper into, spirituality and universal truth, and like really feeling a little more of a hunger for that. And where your energy was very strong in one direction, but maybe a little bit not as heart-centered in that flow, like not as coming from your heart with that direction that you were going in very strongly, that might be changing, right? And I feel like there's some so here. And I feel like that maybe there's some flack from some people. Maybe you're getting some flack for that. Change the direction. Like, oh my God, you were doing so good. This is, all the things that you were doing, seemed on the outside like they were so great. Why are you abandoning or taking a step back from some of that stuff? And, I definitely, when I went on my path at a pretty young age, I had a lot of people that were very confused about what I was doing. I had like a very nice scholarship to go to, a very good music school. I've been playing music my whole life, and had a lot of crazy experiences, including my dad passing, that really woke me up. Although I think I came into this life very, with a lot, as it was. And it just completely changed my direction. Like, just completely was like, no, I can't go to school. I can't do that. And when I lived in a monastery, like pretty much as soon as I could get out of the house. So, I'm feeling that similar energy and a similar thing happening for you, which is really beautiful. And again, if I can support in any way, please reach out. And so I feel like another thing that's coming through is like, here's the bottom of the deck. Here is the bottom of the deck. You realize where that cup is, right? Where that Ace of Cups is, where that emotional, not just emotional fulfillment, just fulfillment. You realize where that is. You realize where that is for you, truly. Not in maybe what you thought, where you thought it was, right? Particularly realizing that it's not outside. It's nothing that I can attain, that will really bring me what I've been looking for, right? The true fulfillment, the wellspring of love and joy internally, and ease and peace. It's none of us. We're not going to get it by searching for things outside of ourselves. It is the only place is inside of us. Even in spiritual traditions and religion, like, in so many times, we really, forget that it's here, not in what's going on outside, right? Even when we pray or, hold, these awakened beings like Jesus and, other teachers, it's not all about looking to them, right? Their whole teaching is to go here, is to look here and to be here, and realize what they realized, right? And I feel like that's coming in such a big way for you. And so, connect with this ancestor of yours. It's safe and beautiful, and there's a lot to offer there. And I see you coming out of whatever confusion you're in. Yeah, I really see that. And part of that decision that came up earlier in this other deck, right? Part of the confusion was certainly about, now I can see clearly about this choice, right? Change of direction, new cycle. Yeah, and I would say also what's coming through is just trust, you know, just really, really trust. Trust what you feel, right? Trust what is felt. Allow those feelings to guide you. What feels good, what feels true for you, right? What feels honorable and what brings you closer to yourself. You know, not what makes other people think that, you know, you're on the right track, or even what makes you feel like in the mind space that you're on the right track. Learning to live from the heart and experience and make decisions a little bit with more association and centered in the heart, right? That doesn't mean we don't use our brain, right? Yeah. Okay, let's see if there's anything wants to come out from our oracle deck here. Anybody wants to come out? Any guides or teachers or other final messages or support? Okay. Anyone else? Let's do this. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Here we go. Beautiful. I knew these were going to come out. I knew it. Okay, bottom of the deck. Here. Overall, yeah, continuing to be solid and committed, which I feel you are, is the way. Being committed to what? Being committed to yourself, to the path that you know is right for you, that feels right, despite what it might look like to others, or despite what it may look like on the outside. It's not important. Our mind will trick us. Our mind will, deceive, right? The mind is there to protect the ego, among other things. Okay. For some of you, I feel like there needs to be a serious shift in perspective, definitely, right? We need to really change, we need to really steer the ship around, and it might be a big change, right? And again, the same advice, trust and be just devoted and committed to your truth and what feels right, okay? And definitely seek guidance if you feel very confused, you know, but I see you coming out of that. I do see you coming out of that, so don't worry, okay? Yeah, certainly, right? That can take a lot of courage. Harnessing this nightly energy, this, you know, going forward, this dropping your fears, even though we are afraid, you know, just going past it, right? In an honorable and an honest way. Being honest with others, certainly, but more so with ourselves, right? What feels honest and true to us, to you, okay? Definitely something to ask yourself and to sit with and allow that quiet, in that quiet space, to allow that to unfold for you naturally and easily, okay? No need to be stuck in the confusion. Make the determination and the commitment to put down that feeling of confusion for a moment. Quiet yourself, ask what is honest, what is true, what is alive, and allow that to unfold and come out of your heart space and open up to receive that, okay? And this, I feel, is the ancestor that we're speaking of, actually. And I feel like instead of, you know, the advice being for you to hold the space, I feel like that this ancestor is actually holding the space for you. Okay? Whether you know it or not, they're always there, they're always supporting. And I do really feel that they are, definitely masculine, definitely very masculine, grandfather energy. Okay? I definitely feel very humble, very sweet and kind. Just love you. Wow, that came out really strong. Yeah, just a lot of love for you. A lot of love for you. Wow. And support. And support from when you were not even born, a child, you know, in the womb. Like, always there, this ancestor, really there to nurture and help care for you. And has helped you in many ways that you're not aware of. And maybe some that you are. but is now, particularly in this important moment, holding the space for you, and opening and holding and opening that space, that container, that space for you to maybe feel a little bit more comfortable to reach out and to connect. And if you're having a hard time with that, again, please reach out to me. I would love to help. Again, I have a sliding scale for all of my services to make it accessible for everyone, and I'm very, very good at what I do. I should really put up some reviews and have some people make some reviews for me, because some of the work I've done with people has been really amazing, and healing for me too. It's very healing for me to work with people. I benefit greatly from it myself personally too, and it's just, yeah, it's just beautiful work that I so love to do. I think we're gonna close there. This is an amazingly beautiful reading. Thank you so much for joining. It's like such a joy to do this, and yeah, and if you got some value from this and were able to stick through it to the end, if you had the time, I just love the support. If you would like the video and subscribe to the channel. I do post videos at the beginning of the month. It's kind of like a forecast, and then for each sign group, right? So like, air, water, earth, and fire for the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month, another 4 videos for each sign group for end of the month review. I will be posting more things throughout the month, as well here, as well as on Instagram, again, at Brother Earth Healing. And yeah, feel free to reach out for anything. I'm totally here for you all, and thank you again for joining. Many, many blessings to you until next time.